Good morning, students.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
We'll continue with the electron transport chain, which we were discussing in our previous class. Children, we learned about the different complexes involved in electron transport chain. Complex 1, that is NADH dehydrogenase. It will convert or it will oxidize NADH plus H plus into NAD, and along with NADH dehydrogenase FMN, flavin mononucleotide and iron sulfur compounds together form complex 1. Now, complex 2 is formed of succinate dehydrogenase and iron sulfur compounds, and succinate dehydrogenase, they will convert succinic acid into fumaric acid during Krebs cycle, resulting in the production of FADH2. And complex 3 is cytochrome BC1. Cytochrome B, cytochrome C1 along with iron sulfur compounds will form complex 3. And complex 4 is known as cytochrome C oxidase, which consists of cytochrome A, cytochrome A1, copper A and copper B. So all these together form complex 4, and complex 5 is formed of ATP synthase, which plays a very important role in ATP synthesis. And as I told you, what you see in blue color, the blue color strip is the inner mitochondrial membrane. Mitochondria has got two membranes. It is a double membraned, or it is provided with two membranes, inner membrane and outer membrane. So in between inner and outer membrane, there is a space. You call it as intermembrane space. And within these means in the center, bordered by two membranes, they have matrix. So in the lumen of the mitochondria, matrix is present. Okay, so in simple terms, or in simple way, if you explain, or without going into the details, if you are just explaining, you can say that the electrons which are released from NADH, the electrons released from, NADH and FADH2 are synthesized as a result of Krebs cycle. And the electrons released from these two will pass through these enzyme complexes, complex 1 to complex 4. And utilizing the energy released by the transfer of these electrons, protons will be pumped, or hydrogen ions will be pumped from the matrix into the intermembrane space. So here you can see pumping of protons taking place. Here also you can find, here also from the matrix. So this is the matrix. From the matrix, protons will be pumped into intermembrane space. I'll say once again, the electrons released from NADH and FADH2 will pass through complexes 1 to 4. So it will be moving through these, transferred from complex 1 to 4, utilizing the energy released by the transfer of these electrons. Protons or hydrogen ions from the matrix. Remember what we had learned earlier in photosynthesis, chemiosmotic hypothesis. So utilizing that energy, protons from the matrix will be pumped to the intermembrane space, the space in between the two membranes. So what happens as a result? There will be more concentration of protons or hydrogen ions in the intermembrane space than found in the matrix. So this difference will result in the creation of a positive charge here in the intermembrane space and negative charge in the matrix. You want me to repeat again? So utilizing the energy released by the transfer of electrons. I told the electrons will be transferred from complex 1 to complex 4. So utilizing the energy released by the transfer of electrons, protons or hydrogen ions will be pumped from the matrix into the intermembrane space. Using red arrows, it is shown in the picture. And as a result, what will happen? There will be more concentration of hydrogen ions in the intermembrane space when compared to the matrix. Matrix, less concentration of protons. As a result, here there will be a negative charge develop, and here it will be positively charged. So there is difference in the charges, as well as the concentration of protons are also different on either side, in the intermembrane space and in the matrix. This will result in the creation of electrochemical gradient, proton gradient, electrochemical gradient. So there will be a difference in the electrical and chemical gradient. An electrochemical gradient at the bottom, I don't think the what is written at the base is clear to you, but it is given in your textbook. You can refer it. Electrochemical gradient will be established between the matrix and the intermembrane. So why electrochemical gradient? Because there is a difference in the charges. Because inside it is, in the matrix it is negative charge, in the intermembrane it is positive charge. So electrical gradient is established. Chemical gradient means concentration of protons are different. In the matrix it is less, in the membrane it is more. So together you can say there is an electrochemical gradient established between the between the matrix and the intermembrane space. I'll repeat it once again. Electrons will be released or will be transferred from NADH and FADH2 synthesized earlier in the early stages, and these electrons released will pass through a series of electron carriers present in the inner membrane of mitochondria. Present in the inner membrane of the mitochondria. What is shown in blue color is the inner membrane. And this electron carriers, or this electron transport system, consists of five complexes are there, and the electrons released from these molecules will pass from complex 1 to complex 4. So utilizing the energy released when electrons are being transferred, energy will be released. Utilizing this energy, protons will be pumped from the matrix into the intermembrane space. As a result, there will be the concentration of protons will be more in the intermembrane space and less in the matrix. And as a result, a negative charge develops in the matrix and positive charge develops in the intermembrane space. Due to this reason, an electrochemical gradient will be established. And the protons which are present in the intermembrane space, they cannot move and reach the matrix because the inner membrane is impermeable to these ions. If protons need to be transported back into the matrix, then we need a special proton carrier. And complex 5 is ATP synthase. With the help of ATP synthase, protons will be transferred again back to matrix. From the intermembrane space, protons will be transported to the matrix with the help of ATP synthase. Utilizing the energy released by the transfer of these protons, ATP molecule will be synthesized. For every 2 protons transferred, 1 ATP molecule will be synthesized. So that is in the simple form. I've explained it. Now you're going to learn it in detail. Is there any doubt in what I have said just now? Now I've explained in a very elementary way, very simple terms. Now we will go into the details. This is clear? Anybody wants me to repeat any point? Whether I can proceed. Okay. NaDH plus H plus and FaDH2 are oxidized because their electrons will be transferred and they get oxidized. Their hydrogen ions will be removed along with the electrons and they get oxidized. NaDH becomes NaD, FaDH2 becomes FaD. They get oxidized as it passes through the electron transport chain to release the energy stored in them. Electrons released are passed from one carrier to another, and at the end they will be transferred to oxygen. Towards the end, these electrons will reach oxygen, resulting in the formation of water. Electrons move through a series of complexes or electron carriers. Its final destination is an oxygen molecule. Once it reaches there, it will result in the formation of a water molecule. And you can define ETS, electron transport system, as a metabolic pathway through which the electron passes. The metabolic pathway through which the electron passes from one carrier to another. The metabolic pathway through which the electron passes from one carrier to another is known as electron transport system, and it is present in the inner mitochondrial membrane. I told you it is present in the inner mitochondrial membrane, as you can see in the picture. As it is shown in the picture, the electron transport system, the different complexes are present in the blue color. What you see, it is the inner mitochondrial membrane. So what do you mean by electron transport system? Electron transport system, the metabolic pathway through which the electron passes. Once again, the metabolic pathway through which the electron passes from one carrier to another is known as electron transport system. Where is it located? In the inner mitochondrial membrane. The metabolic pathway through which or through where the electron gets transferred from one carrier to the other is known as electron transport system, and it is present in the inner mitochondrial membrane. Electrons produced by NADH in the mitochondrial matrix. You know that Krebs cycle is taking place in the mitochondrial matrix. So as a result, NADH is produced. Excuse me. Electrons are produced by the NADH, or NADH is produced in the mitochondrial matrix because it's a product of Krebs cycle. Krebs cycle takes place in the mitochondria. So NADH is produced in the mitochondria. Electrons produced by NADH present in the mitochondrial matrix during the TCA cycle will get oxidized by complex 1. NADH dehydrogenase. You can see in the matrix. I hope you can see the figure clearly. So in the matrix, this is a matrix. So here NADH is produced. With the help of NADH dehydrogenase, it will be oxidized to NAD by complex 1. And the electrons released. And the electrons released by them will be taken up by FMN. From FMN, it will go to iron sulfur compounds, and from there, these electrons will move to ubiquinone. And this ubiquinone will receive these electrons. They will also receive 2 hydrogen atoms from the matrix and will get reduced to UQH2 or ubiquinol. Electrons are transferred to ubiquinone. Ubiquinone, as you can see in the picture, it is located in the inner mitochondrial membrane. So apart from these 5 complexes I told, we have 2 more prosthetic groups known as ubiquinone and also cytochrome C. And cytochrome C, its location, you can see it is on the outer surface of the inner membrane. It is present on the outer surface of the inner membrane, whereas ubiquinone is located in the inner mitochondrial membrane. So ubiquinone, which is located in the inner mitochondrial membrane, receives these electrons, and ubiquinone takes up 2 hydrogen or 2 protons from the matrix and gets reduced to ubiquinol or UQH2. And ubiquinone receives electrons both from complex 1 and also from complex 2. It is receiving electrons from complex 1 and also from complex 2. Complex 2, it is given there, it is succinate dehydrogenase. So when succinate dehydrogenase converts succinic acid into fumaric acid, what happens? FADH2 is produced. And this FADH2, the electrons released from FADH2 will be passed through this complex, will pass through the iron sulfur compounds. So it becomes FADH2. From there, the electrons and protons, or it gets oxidized to FAD, and the electrons will be transferred to iron sulfur compounds. And that electrons are also received by ubiquinone. So from complex 1 also it receives electrons, and from complex 2 also it will receive electrons, and they will receive 2 hydrogen atoms or 2 protons from the matrix and gets reduced. You call it as ubiquinol. Yes.
Last slide.
I'll repeat it again. To get the continuity, I changed, I'll repeat it. Reduced ubiquinone, you call it as ubiquinol. Okay. So as you can see in the picture, to begin with, electrons released from NADH. It is getting converted. NADH is getting converted to NAD by the action of NADH dehydrogenase. NADH dehydrogenase. Hydrogen will be removed. NAD gets oxidized, and the electrons released will be taken up by the electron carrier FMN. Then it goes to FES, iron sulfur compounds, and that electrons will be transferred to ubiquinone. And ubiquinone, it receives electrons, at the same time it accepts 2 protons from the matrix, and it will get reduced to ubiquinol. UQH2 is ubiquinol, reduced form. The normal form, ubiquinone, once it accepts electrons and protons and gets reduced, you call it as ubiquinol. And from, I told you, it's a common electron acceptor carrier, or it receives electrons both from complex 1 and complex 2. Complex 2 is succinate dehydrogenase. When the hydrogen atoms are removed from, or when the succinate is getting converted into fumarate, one molecule of FADH2 is released, and the electrons from the FADH2 will also be released, and FADH2 will get oxidized to FAD. FADH2, they will release their electrons, they will get oxidized to FAD. Electrons released from FADH2 will be taken up by iron sulfur compounds present in complex 2. And these electrons are also transferred to the common electron acceptor, that is from both complex 1 and 2, ubiquinone. So upon receiving the electrons, they will also accept 2 protons from the mitochondrial matrix and gets reduced to ubiquinol. I'll repeat. If you haven't understood, not to worry, I'll be repeating it. Then, now ubiquinol is in the reduced state because it has accepted protons and it has got reduced, ubiquinol. But it will get oxidized. The reduced form will get again oxidized to ubiquinol. How? If it has to get oxidized, it should donate its electrons. So from ubiquinol, the electrons will be transferred to where? By the transfer of electrons from complex 3. So from complex 3, which is complex 3, cytochrome BC1. Cytochrome BC1 complex is known as complex 3. So the electrons from ubiquinone, you can see in the picture, the electrons from ubiquinone will be transferred to complex 3, and from the complex 3, see, first it will be accepted by cytochrome B, and from this also electrons are transferred to complex 3. So ubiquinol, this is in the reduced state, but I told it will get soon oxidized. How it is getting oxidized? By donating it electrons. So from here, electrons will be donated. From this side also, this ubiquinone, which has received the electrons from complex 1, will also donate its electrons to complex 3. So complex 3 consists of cytochrome B, C1 and iron sulfur. First, it will be taken up by cytochrome B, then it will be accepted by iron sulfur compounds, then cytochrome C1. From there, it will move to a mobile electron carrier. You call it as cytochrome C. It is capable of moving. It can freely move. It's not fixed at any place. So it is a mobile carrier, and they will help in transferring the electrons between complex 4 and complex 3. See, cytochrome is carrying those electrons to complex 4. But when these ubiquinol has donated its electrons, they get oxidized again to ubiquinone. They will get back to its normal state. And then what happens? Cytochrome C, as I told, is a small protein which is attached to the outer surface of the inner membrane. The blue color one is inner membrane. As you can see, it is located on the outer surface of the inner membrane. Outer surface of the inner membrane. Here. This is the outer, this is the inner membrane and its outer surface. Till here, I'll repeat once again and then I'll proceed to the next one. Okay. Electrons from NADH. Okay, that will be transferred. NADH will get oxidized to NAD by the action of NADH dehydrogenase. The electrons present in it will be transferred to complex 1. It will pass through FMN, iron sulfur compounds. And finally, these electrons will be given to or will be accepted by ubiquinone. Upon accepting these electrons, they will also receive 2 protons from the matrix and gets reduced to UQH2. It accepts 2 protons or hydrogen ions from the matrix. It becomes ubiquinol. And ubiquinone is not only accepting electrons from complex 1, they do accept electrons from complex 2 also. And I told not to get confused with the order. After complex 1, complex 3 is given, then 3 is given secondly, and then 2, then remaining in order 4 and 5. So ubiquinone will accept electrons from complex 2 also. So upon receiving electrons from complex 2, that ubiquinone molecule also will get oxidized to ubiquinol, just like we said in the case of the first one. Okay, and then what happens? From ubiquinone, ubiquinol, that is reduced ubiquinone, will get, first it got reduced, now it will get oxidized. How it is getting oxidized? So when this reduction takes place, when they accept, When they accept protons or when they accept electrons, they get reduced. But when they donate, they get oxidized. So the electrons from ubiquinol will be donated to complex 3 and they get oxidized. Okay, and they will get oxidized. And from cytochrome cytochrome BC is complex 3. And from complex 3, the electrons will be transported to complex 4 via cytochrome C. What is cytochrome C? It's a mobile carrier, helps in transferring electrons between complexes 3 and 4. Okay, and in complex 3, the electrons first to be taken by cytochrome B, iron sulfur compound, cytochrome C1. From there it will go to cytochrome C, that will take it to complex 4. And copper A will accept it first, then cytochrome A, cytochrome A1, then copper B or CuB. Okay, and everywhere, see, in that yellow or passing through the yellow box or passing through the green, peach, everywhere you can find protons being pumped. So when the electrons are being transferred through these complexes, utilizing the energy, they will be pumping. So here in the first complex, you can see utilizing the energy got from the transfer of electrons, hydrogen ions are pumped into the intermembrane space. In complex 3 also you can find utilizing the energy, protons are pumped. And complex 4 also you can find the protons being pumped. Yes? Can you see? So utilizing the energy obtained from the transfer of electrons through the complexes, protons are being pumped from the matrix into the intermembrane space, and this will gradually develop an electrochemical gradient. Hydrogen ions in the matrix will reduce, developing negative charge. Hydrogen ions in the intermembrane space will increase, promoting the development of a positive charge. So here arises an electrochemical gradient will be established. So this protons or these hydrogen ions cannot move back to the matrix on its own, because these inner membrane is impermeable to these ions. So if these electrons need to be, or these protons need to be transported back to the matrix, we need a special proton carrier. That will be complex 5 comprising of ATP synthase. Till here, have you understood? Till here, have you understood? Any step you want me to clarify, I will. Did you understand?
Ma'am, it needs proton carrier.
Proton?
The last step, how do the protons move back?
That we'll be saying. I'll be saying about that. We didn't mention about complex 5. Have you understood how the electrons are reaching till complex 4? Yes, Punya?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now we will see how this is reverted back, how it is moving back to the matrix, resulting in the synthesis of ATP. As electrons pass from one carrier to another, from complex 1 to 4, electrons couple with complex 5 and produce ATP molecules. And I told you, because of the energy released by the movement of these electrons, protons will be pumped from the matrix into the intermembrane space, and this will develop an electrochemical gradient. And this will be coupled with an complex 5 to produce ATP. The number of ATP molecules produced will depend on the nature of electron donor. So how many ATP molecules are synthesized once they are transported through ATP synthase enzyme will be decided by the electron donor. Like if it is NADH, if one molecule of NADH is getting oxidized, we already learned about this. 3 ATP molecules are synthesized. But when one FADH2 molecule, so utilizing the electrons released from FADH2, we can synthesize 2 ATP molecules. Using one molecule of NADH, 3 ATPs, and using one molecule of FADH2, two ATP molecules will be synthesized. And for aerobic respiration to take place, we know that when we say aerobic respiration, oxygen is must, oxygen is inevitable. But the role of oxygen is only towards the last stage of electron transport chain. Oxygen is inevitable, but at the same time, oxygen is needed only towards the end. It's a final hydrogen acceptor. So towards the end, these hydrogen is accepted by the oxygen atom, and they will remove hydrogen from the process. So they will accept this hydrogen. Oxygen will accept towards the end. They will finally accept the hydrogen. Hydrogen combines with oxygen and produces water molecule. Even though oxygen is present as the terminal, at the terminal stage as the final hydrogen or proton acceptor, it is the one which drives the whole process. It will accept hydrogen at the end, and combining with, on combination with the hydrogen atom, it will result or it will form water molecule. Production of proton gradient needed for the production of ATP. Already you understood how a proton gradient is established. I told electrochemical gradient is established. So chemical gradient is due to the difference in the protons, difference in the concentration of protons. The production of proton gradient needed for the production of ATP is provided by the energy of oxidation reduction reaction. You have seen the molecules getting oxidized, getting reduced as it is passing through these electron transport chain, and you call this process as oxidative phosphorylation. Hope you are remembering substrate level phosphorylation and oxidative level phosphorylation. When it is substrate level phosphorylation, directly inorganic phosphate combines with the substrate, sorry, from the substrate inorganic phosphate will be released. They directly combine with ADP and releases ATP molecule. But oxidative phosphorylation means the electrons move through a series of complexes and they get or oxidation reduction reactions take place, and finally ATP molecules will be synthesized. The energy which is released during the electron transport system will be utilized, and ATP will be synthesized with the help of ATP synthase enzyme. And here is the structure of complex 5, the ATP synthase enzyme. The same structure which you had learned when we discussed about the same in photosynthesis. It has got two major components, F0 and F1. As you can see, F0 is embedded in the inner mitochondrial membrane. What you see in light violet color or lavender color, that is F0. So here you can see F0. F0 is embedded in the inner mitochondrial membrane. And you call it as integral membrane protein because it is present within the membrane, embedded in the membrane. They act as a channel through where the protons will move. So this is the, I told you here, the concentration of protons will increase as a result of electron transfer. Utilizing the energy released by the transfer of electrons, protons will be pumped from the matrix into the intermembrane space. So here the concentration will be more. So this F0, they act as a channel through where it can again come back to the matrix. F1 is the headpiece. This is F1, and F1 is a peripheral membrane protein. Peripheral and integral membrane protein, the difference is that integral means it will be embedded within the membrane. Peripheral means it will be projecting from the membrane. It is projecting outside, as you can see in the picture. So it's a peripheral membrane protein complex, and they have the catalytic site. So it is here that the ATP synthesis take place utilizing ADP and inorganic phosphate. So the role of F0, if you are asked to differentiate between F0 and F1, F0 is integral membrane protein. So both are parts of ATP synthase. F0 is integral membrane protein, which is embedded within the membrane. Whereas F1 is peripheral membrane protein. A peripheral protein means it will be projecting from the membrane, surface of the membrane. And what is the significance of F0? They act as a channel. Through this channel, protons will be traveling, or it will be transferred to the matrix from the intermembrane space to break the gradient, to break the proton gradient, or to break the electrochemical gradient. Whereas F1, they have the catalytic site, and it is in the F1 site that ATP synthesis will take place, making use of the energy released by the movement of protons into the matrix. For every 2 protons transferred, 1 ATP molecule will be synthesized. The passage of the protons through the channel will be coupled to the catalytic site. So this will be paired with the catalytic site of F1 for producing ATP. For each ATP produced, 2 hydrogen or protons, hydrogen ions or 2 protons will move through the F0, or else you can say when 2 protons are moving through this channel into the matrix, 1 ATP molecule will be synthesized. For every ATP molecule produced, 2 protons will move into the matrix through F0 from the intermembrane space into the matrix down the electrochemical proton gradient. Children, is it clear? Any doubts? I know it is difficult to understand, but you have to read it today itself. It's a complicated concept. You have to be familiar with the different complexes, the components of each complex, names of all that I told you in this chapter. You are learning so many cycles, so many pathways. All these are important. So electron transport system also you can be asked to write or explain with the help of a proper diagram. And all these are some basic concepts in botany or biology. So you can't skip all these. That is why even though CBSE has deleted several topics, these topics they haven't deleted. These are the basics in biology. That is respiration, photosynthesis, the different cycles involved. So if you're going for higher studies in biology, all these you will have to know. So these are the basics. So if you haven't understood, please do inform me. Please let me know, so that if you want, I am ready to explain it again. Okay. And I was going very slow. Hope you have felt it, because otherwise I could have finished this chapter. So I want you to understand it thoroughly. So I've gone very slowly, but no problem. Even if you haven't followed, if you want me to repeat it again in the next class, I'll repeat. Okay. And I told you to come prepared for a test paper. And I thought I will complete electron transport system in our next class, day after tomorrow. Glycolysis, then Krebs cycle, and electron transport system. Based on these three, come prepared for a test. It can be oral test, descriptive test, or multiple choice. Okay. Any doubts? Then first you tell me that. So I'll clear that. And but for escaping from the test, you don't come up with the doubts in the class. Okay. Some people are there. Like I used to ask them to come prepared for the test. So as soon as I'm about to dictate the questions, they will say this part is doubt. So I'll keep on explaining and test will be cancelled. So if you have any doubts, inform me today itself. Okay. Thank you, children. You can message me if you have any doubts. Hope you have understood. Yes? Somewhat.
Almost last part.
Once you read your textbook, it will be thorough. If anything is there, please get back to me. Thank you, children.